Hello and welcome to another episode of the Online Warriors podcast. This week it is just myself, Techtic. I know on past episodes we had talked about how Nerd Bomber's sick or going through something, but I gotta tell you, what she has gone through in the past has been like nothing compared to this. She is coughing like her whole entire chest, her throat is sore. She can barely speak. We are communicating via text messages, which is really bad because I don't look at my phone very often. So she's like kind of like a mime, helpless around someone who doesn't have great peripheral vision. So I really feel for her. I really hope all of you guys kind of shout out to her because she's going through it, but she'll come through, and I'm confident she'll be with us on the next week. And I'm not saying she's going to die. I'm just saying her voice will not be hoarse enough to be able to attend the show. So that's what we're hoping for. Get well, Nerd Bomber. We're all rooting for you. This week, though, we do have a fair amount of topics to discuss. We've got a little bit of Nintendo news on multiple fronts, and something that's giving the console war a little bit of a run for its money. So, without further ado, I'd like to get started right away. We had a Super Mario Nintendo Direct showcasing specifically the Super Mario movie, the sequel, Super Mario Galaxy. And the main thing that we need to talk about is we finally got introduced to who is playing Rosalina, what other characters we're going to see, such as Bowser Jr., and who is voicing Bowser Jr. So first and foremost, Rosalina will be played by Brie Larson, which I absolutely love because when you're watching the trailer, in Super Mario Galaxy, you're saving her. You're like trying to rescue the day as Mario. But in the first movie, we saw Princess Peach. They made her a badass. And to be fair, Rosalina is sort of the protector of the galaxy and not someone to just be a damsel in distress. And right off the bat, they showed her doing the slow superhero walk, and there's a big, monstrous enemy behind her, and she just real casually just sends it and just, she's just absolutely badass. And so coupling with the sort of protector of the galaxy with Brie Larson, aka Captain Marvel, I think it is a perfect casting, and it's another win for not making these strong characters look weak. So I'm absolutely excited about that one. And then Bowser Jr., who was introduced as Bowser's son. He's the main bad guy. He's trying to save Bowser, and he is going to be voiced by Benny Safdie. And Jack Black introduces him, which is kind of funny because he refers to him as this uncut gem of an actor. And the reason why he does that is because, well, he starred in Uncut Gems. So it's a little bit of an inside joke. If you got it, great. If you didn't, well, there you go. Now you're on the inside. And that's very funny. Jack Black, you're over the top sometime, but you're also really great, and we love you. Keep up the good work. The way this trailer plans out, and I really enjoyed it, is on the first one, we saw that Bowser ate a mini mushroom, got shrunk down, and he's sort of in his own little playhouse castle, and Mario and Luigi are kind of talking to him, and they're being chummy, and Bowser's trying to work on himself, which also very, very nice to add like personality to these characters that were just bad guy. I love what they're doing with this franchise. Couldn't be happier. And beyond that, this like whole thing where everyone's buds with Luigi and hates Mario, fantastic, like dynamic. I'm really, really rooting for this franchise to keep going. It's just so fun, and I'm very happy about it. And so I'm looking forward to this movie, and I hope you guys are too. So check out this trailer if you haven't checked it out, and I think we're going to be in for a good time. So the next topic, sort of in the same vein of Nintendo, is we got a new trailer for Metroid Prime 4. This trailer showcases more of the world, some of the badass enemies, and a bit more of the plot. So the plot that we're introduced to is that Samus is trapped on a planet along with members of the Galactic Federation, and you need to gather clues from previous civilizations to fight your way through and escape. At its heart, this is sort of standard Metroid that we all love, with the addition of that bike. Now, I want to start by talking about the bike, and then we'll get into the Galactic Federation. So the bike's badass. It looks great, and you can drive around it, you can shoot from it. it gives me Ghost vibes from Halo, but its main purpose that we saw in this trailer is to really travel between zones, which I don't really see the point. I don't like that. I hope this feature of traveling between different zone worlds that you have in this overall area is more of like a, hey, you can do this, but also we have fast travel. Kind of like Spider-Man in like where you can swing through New York City, but you don't have to. It's just you'll get collectibles if you want. You can pick up various, like, I don't know, let's call it coins or whatever, but ultimately you could just take the subway, right? That needs to happen because I can see this feature getting kind of pretty boring and old and monotonous. I mean, even in Metroid, like the various games, you can fast travel from elevator to elevator. So I hope that they've maintained that core mechanic. Now, going back to the members of the Galactic Federation, they are trapped with you as well. You kind of blacked out. You all ended up in this world. You need to figure out how to escape. But because they're trapped with you, you're forced to work together to accomplish tasks and get power-ups with them, which is fine. I mean, in other games, you're not necessarily working with humans. You've for example, Metroid Fusion, right? You partner up with the little Metroids to kind of move forward and take the day. And even in Metroid Dread, right? You get that amazing power up at the end to win. There's always some kind of partner up, but there's no real dialogue. Having the humans sort of, in my opinion, detracts from this, like, you're Samus and you're fighting aliens. And I know in other previous games, there's like flashbacks to humanity and things like that. But for the most part, Samus is more of a lone wolf. I'm interested to see how they do this, but ultimately I can get behind some of the different mechanics of like doing a team up, working with various, types of soldiers in different suits with different abilities to sort of move forward. I can get behind that. The main cautionary point here that, in my opinion, makes me nervous is the constant chatter from these troopers into my visor. And based on some early playthroughs, it said that it tends to, quote, get on your nerves. I am hoping that this is like a small part of the overall exploration. Like, if it's like 20%, I'm fine. I'm not going to really be too upset about it. But if it's way more than that, it's going to like take away from what is, in my opinion, staying true to your roots within the Metroid franchise. So that gets me a bit nervous, but we should sort of see how it plays out. And hopefully it's, again, staying true to its roots and it's still some IP that we are going to continue to love because the suit looks badass. I love the red color. I've said this before on the show. Red's my favorite color. And like, I know that's kind of a basic reason to be, not swayed, but I'm not. And I'm a big fan. I have been. It was kind of like, my first Game Boy Advanced game. And I've just kind of just grown with the franchise. And I've gone back and played the old Nintendo ones and the DS ones. And this franchise really can't sway me away. I love it. I'm a glutton for punishment if you don't think it's good, but it's so good. So I'm still on board, but like I said, it's making me a little nervous where it's trying to feel more like Halo and less like what it is, and that's Metroid. So to be determined. Hopefully, again, this is a small part and it stays true. So with that said, I'm going to take a quick break and we will continue on with the show with 2 more topics. But before we take our break, I would be remiss if I didn't shout out our Patreon producer, Mr. Steven Keller. He subscribes to us at the night level over on our Patreon, and as a result, he gets this weekly shout out as well as access to our secret segments and video vlogs. If you want to be as cool as Steven, head on over to our Patreon at patreon.com/onlinewarriorspodcast, where you will find 3 tiers of patronage with all different perks and goodies for you to enjoy. But the best perk of all is knowing that you keep the lights on here at Online Warrior Central. Thanks again to Steven, and now let's take a quick break.
I I'm Ryan Fonzie.
This is Cameron Hagee.
My name is Tony Giggles.
And we're three dudes who love The Legend of Zelda and love talking about The Legend of Zelda.
And if you are a Zelda fan as much as we are, then come on down and listen to your heart's content.
We have a podcast that we'd like to share with you. It's called A for No, B for Yes. We cover the Legend of Zelda series, different games chapter by chapter, and we have all kinds of theories about what we see and what we've experienced in the game.
Do you go through Wikipedia and look up stuff based on the things you see in the game to create theories to how it could link to other things in the world that we actually live in, and not the Zelda one that was the one that was created by the people that are in the world that we actually live in right now? Because if you don't, then you should watch this, because we do.
Did you guys get all that? If not, oh, you didn't. Okay. So we are A for no, B for... All right, I'll stop.
And we are back. And boy, howdy, has this week been a heavily Nintendo-based episode. So the next slot of news is we got introduced to additional Pokemon variants, and they were introduced in Pokemon Pokopia. So we got to see a couple of them. The first one being Pikachu, which looks like a dead Pikachu with like floppy ears, and it's shown kind of sleeping and curled up in a ball. And it's like almost ghostly looking, which is kind of interesting because they haven't announced any exact typing for this variant. But to me, this, especially the fact that it's in Pokopia, it feels more like a marketing than like a new variant or a regional form. Because when you look at the other ones that were introduced, it is a mossy Snorlax. And what's common about these two is they're both sleepy. And so I'm wondering if this is used to kind of boost the popularity here to then help other games like Pokemon Sleep. Maybe this is a bit tinfoil hatty, but I think it's all connected. We also saw another variant, which was a more multicolored Smeargle, which I don't know that I'd consider this a variant as much as it is just another skin of that Pokemon. I'm more focused on the Sleep ones because that seemed too common for them to be like, just, hey, here's a new variant. It's more like, here's a very specific situation, and here's Pokemon about them. Because it was also at nighttime. So there's something within that bubble of either nighttime or Pokemon Sleep or whatever that drives the introduction of these forms. So more to be determined there. And then in addition to these sort of more sleepy variants, I guess we'll call them, we also got to see a lot more gameplay of Pokemon Pokopia, as Tangrowth walks you through various tutorials and learns that you're a Ditto in disguise and not really a human. So that was kind of sort of fun to see the dynamics, and we walked through fishing and building and all these other things, slicing, that we saw in the previous one, but more built upon, and we got to see gameplay. So very much excited for the cozy game space that this is going to be resided in, and I'm excited to see more content as this continues to roll out. Now, for the most important announcement of the day. And wouldn't you be surprised if I said this is actually not Nintendo related? So Valve, yes, you know Valve, the Steam company, has been cooking up some amazing technology. And in my personal opinion, I think they have just about won the console war. Guys, it is done. So first and foremost, let's start off with the Steam Machine. This thing is a 6-inch by 6-inch by 6-inch cube, which, hilariously enough, the internet is calling it the Gabe Cube after the co-founder of Valve, which I think that's a really funny play on words. But this thing is designed to play through your entire Steam library with ease. It comes with multiple I/O ports to allow you to play with really whatever controller you want, whether it's an Xbox controller, PlayStation, or hell, even the $20 cheapo one. And on top of that, if you don't want any of those controller options, they also drop their own Steam controller, which really, if you're familiar with the Steam Deck, they basically took the Steam Deck out and pushed it together, but this thing is loaded with a ton of features. It has magnetic charging. It has the latest in magnetic thumbstick technology. It has 2 trackpads, as I said, similar to what you get on the Steam Deck. It has motion control. And then in addition to all of those things, it's got customizable button. And honestly, within all of those available options to you, this is going to be my controller of choice. Easy. I mean, it's not even a question. And since they've got the trackpads already, it's going to work best with the Steam machines because you can also just run a Steam machine as a computer. And so having those trackpads is going to be essentially your mouse, right? And so this is just a really, really nice package, and it's going to be the most logical option if you were to buy the Steam machine. With that said, the Steam machine is also capable of running 4K gaming at 60 SPF due to the AMD CPU and GPU. It comes with either a 512 gigabyte or 2 terabytes of memory. So you can just have all of your game library loaded up there. And even if 2 terabytes isn't enough for you, there's an additional expandable storage slot using a micro SD card. So like they've completely thought of the players. Valve cares about its players. This is like so clear to me. It's astonishing. And then lastly, and this is probably my favorite part, there's a front plate on this cube and a light. And both of these things are fully customizable, which, like, when I say customizable, I mean like decorative. You can take the plate off, you can put on a wooden panel or like something that's been like, even if you draw something up in like graffiti or whatever kind of fits your living room vibe, you can put it on there and then you can change the color of the LED that's under there. You can use it for various features. They even showed it with an e-ink display that like shows you performance specs. It's fully like, what is your vibe, which I think is a huge step forward in the console space, because this is, in my opinion, something that we want from what is the PS5 massive, ugly spaceship to something that's decorative and flows with your feng shui. And that's huge, right? That's going to now encourage people to not be afraid to have this in their living room and instead of some like basement setup, right? We want gaming to be on the forefront of not only, the single person playing, but gaming can be a family experience. So I'm very excited about that ability to have it, look decorative. And so that in itself, this is absolutely a day one buy for me. I have been kind of flipping up, do I get the Steam Deck? Do I get the Switch? It's going to be the Steam machine. No questions asked. I'm 100% on board with this one. And since we already have a Steam Deck, it doesn't feel like sort of a silly purchase. So that's where I'm at with the Steam machine. And then in addition to everything I just mentioned, they also dropped a new wireless headset and dual stick controllers that you hold in each hand. This thing can play both, and this is really important, your VR and non-VR library. And the reason why the non-VR is important is because it can just be a portable system that you sit back and wear on your face, right? The handheld sticks have all of the capability of the regular controller so that you can easily play your non-VR system and use it as just a screen, which is, I think, great. With that said, if you were to look at this machine, it doesn't look like a massive, heavy helmet. I mean, when I wear the Meta or the PSVR, it starts to hurt my head after a while. This thing looks like swimming goggles. It's lighter, it's smaller, it's kind of sleek. And honestly, as someone who's never been super into VR, I'm really starting to see the appeal of this, especially just from the weight perspective. I can't even wear regular like headphones on my head because it starts to hurt the top of my head, and maybe there's something wrong there, but I digress. Enough about me. So I am very hyped about everything that Valve is cooking up. They absolutely decimated the console war, and it finally feels like we care about the players again. And I'm so happy to see this. Day one buy for me, especially if it's under the $1,000 price point. If they can kind of needle it in between that $500 to $700 range, just the Steam machine, I'm still not going to buy the VR. If they can make that in that range or even lower, I mean, it's not even a question. That's the console for me. So with that said, we're going to kick it over to what am I up to Wednesday, just because it's me, not a use. What am I up to Wednesday? I'm going to talk about a couple different things that we've been doing. So first and foremost, we started watching the next season of Nobody Wants This. In my opinion, I get that the male love interest is a rabbi, but it's so much of his personality. He's kind of becoming one-dimensional of a character, and I want him to have other interest other than he's Jewish. And I know that sounds kind of harsh, but like when you watch the show, I think you would agree with me. It's still funny, and I'm enjoying it, and it's got those rom-com feels, and it's overall a good time, but he's starting to become insufferable, and I really want them to sort of flip it up at least just a little bit, just so that it doesn't just sort of feel worn out. Like, I would be exhausted if I was Kristen Bell's character. It's just the constant elephant in the room. Then the other thing that I had done for the first time is I participated in a meat raffle, and it was a little fundraiser. And these things kind of get way rowdier than I thought they would. I myself won 2 racks of ribs and literally like a cinder block worth of ground beef. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Just put it in my freezer for now. But it was fun. And then like beer is included, and you're just like, you throw your money up, people run towards you for tickets, and it's a riot. I made friends. People were fist bumping me, high-fiving, like, oh, it is such a fun time. If you haven't done a meat raffle, surprisingly fun. Do a meat raffle. And then the last thing that I've been working on tirelessly is I've been sort of in the polishing phase, so that because I tried to make a game trailer for my game Uvi, and it didn't look polished enough to let the world see it. So I'm adding little subtle things like particle effects to make it look like there's wind, and adjusting the lighting and some of the UI, making it look more polished, such that I can release a trailer that I feel good about. Because apparently the Steam algorithm is when you first post your game, it promotes it, and then it'll just taper off into obscurity. And so you want to put your best foot forward when you release it. And so I've just been kind of going really hard on that, so I can start to get the word out there, and then continue to fine tune it over, a year and a half, or whatever, how long it takes till I'm confident that I'm releasing a good game. So that's the main gist of what I've been up to. It's a bit lighter of a show because there's not that back and forth that I get from my co-host, but next week we're hoping to be fully healthy and get back at it. I hope you enjoyed the show. Let me know if you're going to get the Steam Machine as well, or if you think something like the Switch 2 is the better alternative. I'm really interested to have this dialogue with really anyone who's willing to talk to me, because it is always a struggle to spend money on myself. I don't know, maybe it feels frivolous. So let me know what you think, and in the meantime, stay safe and keep on podcasting.